Hello, everybody. Last but definitely not least, my name is Ruben Menville, and this is Practical Advantage Communications. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I know these presentations have been long, last week of school, but without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to have Tree talk about the student-run agency's background.
Hi, so my name is Tree. So some background for the Student Run Agency is that it's founded in 2011 and is one of 160 college student-run agencies within the United States. What this agency offers to students is real-world experience with real clients. So students create real campaigns, create real content, and work with real clients to further their brand or their goals. So for our campaign, we had to do a situation analysis. We did a SWOT analysis looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that this semester may bring. So one of the strengths that our agency has is that it always brings in new students. Every semester, there are always fresh minds with new and brilliant ideas. However, some of the weaknesses that brings is that it brings inconsistent posting because students are always switching in and out of the agency. And on top of that, we have different social medias on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, which all have different audiences and different ways to communicate our messages to our audience. So we have to cater our content a little bit more to play to the strengths of those social media sites. So an opportunity that we had this semester was to communicate our message with our graduates and bring in new potential clients and students. This is important because by having a good relationship with our alumni of our class and our agency, they can help us bring in potential clients because they understand what the agency does and is able to communicate that message to those clients and bring them in. And on top of that, bringing in potential clients can always help bring in potential students who are interested in what this agency is doing. And a threat that we have is every semester, it is hard to post consistently on our social medias because of students always switching in and out of the agency. And because of that, it is hard to communicate our message to our audience. And for our audience, I'll have Raymond talk about that next.
Thank you, Tree. Before I dive into the audience and the publics, I think it's very important that we define what it is and why it's so important. So a target audience refers to a group of consumers that is likely to engage with a product or service. Similarly, a public is any group that shows interest towards the product or service. So why are they so important? Understanding your audience is an imperative process to a successful advertising campaign, as they hold valuable information that lead you to make better decisions that can push your campaign a lot further. And our strategic vision for this campaign was to inform our audience and the publics about who we are as an agency. It is our mission to effectively communicate with our audience by providing an engaging experience through storytelling and testimonials. With the help of social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, we are able to utilize these resources and make this process much more efficient. So for our main target audience, our first priority is going to be practical advantage communication graduates and alumni. Our second priority were COMM students who haven't taken this class yet, and the last will be faculty members across the board. So the demographic for the age group for this demographic is can range from anywhere from 18 to 65. And as for education, because they are deeply involved with the school, it can be from anything from undergrad to more advanced levels. And as for the key media, we use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the perfect platform to reach graduates that are looking for opportunities to advance their career. It is the most professional networking platform. This also applies to faculty members. And then next we have Twitter. Twitter is great for keeping the audience informed and updated with current events. It's also the best platforms to reach out to students, as they are more likely to be active on these type of platform. And as for Facebook and Instagram, these are also very viable options because they they are very good at storytelling. They're a great platform for storytelling, and also spread news. And next, I'm going to pass the mic to Ruben.
All right, I'm back. I'll be talking about the goals and objectives that we had. So, our main goals that we wanted to achieve were to expand, create, and share. Ultimately, we want to expand the PRAD social media community. The bigger the community, the more clients we gain. A bigger community allows for a bigger pool of unique clients that we can use for future semesters and future years. We wanted to create a carefully curated social media calendar, and we wanted to share engaging narratives which showcase students and clients from all sections of COMM 47, including any relevant in-class material as well as out-of-class material that relates to the class. And to achieve these goals, we had 3 objectives: interact, schedule, and collect. We interacted by tagging clients, relevant companies, student-run agencies, even engaging with people that wanted to communicate with us through DMs. And for our social media calendar, we wanted to schedule out our specific content. We want to plan where and when social media content will be posted. And this content will be collected and it was collected and gathered from other PRAD students, clients, professor from this class and the other class. And unfortunately, we didn't get anything from alumni who took PRAD as a class, but that would have been nice. And I'm going to pass it over to Carissa, who's going to go into more depth about our social media calendar and planning.
Awesome. Thank you, Ruben. Hi, guys. Like Ruben said, my name is Chris Rubio, and I'm going to be talking about the different kinds of calendars we use to help us throughout this semester. So the first calendar we use is a Gantt chart, and this shows the timeline of how everything happened throughout the course of the semester, starting with the first meeting with our client that happened within the first few weeks of the semester, to the content creation and social media postings that occurred throughout the bulk of the project, and finally ending with our final presentation and campaign book. This was helpful to keep us on track and see what was coming next and when we would be completing each part. For example, in week 6, we started our content creation that goes until week 13, but our social media postings went until week 15, so we had to ensure that we had enough posts to last us throughout the last 2 weeks. If you go to the next slide, you'll see our media calendar, and we created the media calendar to keep postings consistent throughout the semester. We all have busy lives, so keeping an organized calendar helped us create the best content possible for our platforms, along with posting consistently throughout the entirety of the semester. This is not our full calendar, but this is just a portion of what the whole semester looked like. And if you go to the next slide, our resources that we use, we utilize the many features Google has to offer to share documents, to collaboratively work on our social media calendar, presentations, and our proposal and final campaign book. We use FunctionFox as a resource to calculate all billable and non-billable hours throughout this semester. Excel was used to create our Gantt chart, and we utilize Photoshop to help create media content. We also use all 4 social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Next, we're going to have Sheldon talk about our outcomes.
Hey guys, so in this section, I want to quickly outline our goals in order to remind you of what we had mentioned before earlier in this presentation, and then I will dive into some of the outcomes that were intended and unintended. And so we had 3 goals this semester. The first goal was to expand the PRAD social media community through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And so in order to meet the first intended outcome of this goal was to interact with students, clients, and potential clients on our social media platform by responding to comments and direct messages. Another intended outcome of this goal was to grow our follower count and therefore the number of accounts that we can reach with every post. We did this by creating creative content and working with the media content manager and schedule manager. And one unintended outcome of this campaign was the difficulty we experienced in improving engagement across all of our platforms. Many social media and internet users have gone through media fatigue in the latter half of this year, which has had an impact on our engagement. The second goal of this semester was to generate consistent, carefully curated social media content across all platforms. And so in order to accomplish this goal, our first intention was to work closely with our campaign schedule manager and media content manager to produce a content calendar that helped us schedule our content out in advance. Our second intention was to share content that was both on brand and consistent in quality. Our team worked together in researching content ideas, executing content production, and more in order to share a cohesive brand narrative that effectively increased engagement. One unintended outcome of this campaign was the difficulty in finding content to share during COVID-19. As we all know and understand, the world is still recovering from the effects of this pandemic, and the path forward for the PR and advertising communities is not yet clear. Another unintended outcome of this campaign was the challenges that we faced in producing this content. As a result of COVID-19, we weren't able to take advantage of the resources and gear that would be normally available to us on campus. We didn't have access to cameras or iMacs or any computers with the processing system that could handle some of the professional industry grade programs that we were attempting to use on what we had available to us at home. And so this forced us to think outside of the box and use what was readily available to us in order to meet our objective of producing high quality and on-brand content. The third goal of this semester was to share engaging narratives that showcase students and clients from all sections of COMM 474. And so our intended outcome was to reach out to students across both sections of COMM 474 in order to gather stories that could be shared across all of our social media platforms. We wanted to display and narrate the talents, abilities, and backgrounds of the students working for our clients this semester, because we believe that we truly have some great students working in COMM 474. We were able to accomplish this by communicating with students over email in order to gather photos and a short summary of the students and their experiences. We then took these and shared them on platforms such as Instagram, LinkedIn, and more. There were, however, several unintended outcomes of this goal that we did not expect moving forward with this campaign. One unintended outcome was the difficulty that we had in communicating with students across both sections. While Professor Swanson's section was more responsive and willing to provide us with what we needed, Professor Hagihara's section was often unresponsive and did not provide us with the amount of content that Professor Swanson's section did. Another unintended outcome was the lack of evergreen content. We were hoping to use some of these stories to provide COMM 474 and the PR ad social media account with content that we could share in the future. But because we did not receive the expected content from Professor Hagihara's section, we were left with less evergreen content. And so in summary, the outcomes of this campaign are reasonable and to be expected for a student agency running an awareness campaign during a pandemic. According to Brandwatch, mentions of social media fatigue have increased by 41% in the last 10 months compared to 10 months prior. And so with this in mind, the lower numbers of engagement are to be expected due to the increased time that people spent on social media earlier in the year, which is absolutely having an impact on their social media usage today. And so I will pass it back to Ruben to do the campaign measurements and results.
Thank you, Sheldon. All right, so for our results, our team believed that followers, reach, and profile visits were the most important measurements to track. So over the semester, Prad gained around an average of 11 followers per social media platform. Some platforms significantly reached more people than others. We averaged around 1,465 people reached over the semester. If we cut out Facebook, it would have been 1,894 people. We averaged around 73 profile visits all over platforms as well. After observing our success, we concluded that days where posting or posts were inconsistent generated fewer numbers. This could just be a coincidence, but we believe consistent posts will lead to greater numbers. Social media posts that involve Prad students or clients may produce greater numbers. The one we posted about students and clients, those did create greater numbers. The more relevant the content to the class, the better. We also concluded that tagging relevant people such as companies or student-run agencies increased engagement and reach. These results are qualitative and they are based off our evaluation, but consistency, relevant posts, and tagging seem to do the best. All right, now for our evaluation. Our main goal was to expand Prad's social media community, which we did by increasing Prad's following across all social media platforms. Our secondary goal was to create a calendar, which we accomplished by scheduling out where and when specific content would go in an Excel spreadsheet. Our final goal was to share what students did for their clients, along with Share Prad COMM 47 alumni stories. We somewhat accomplished the goal because we did collect some data from students, as Sheldon mentioned, in this class and Hagi Har's class, but we did not get that much data. Unfortunately, we did not collect anything from previous COMM 474 students who already graduated. We reached out to as many of them as we could, but we didn't get anything back. Even though we didn't collect much from current students, we were fortunate enough to at least get some type of content, which was good because those posts seemed to do the best. All right, now where does PRAD go from here? PRAD's social media success ultimately comes down to if next year's students are going to be consistent or not. If they are inconsistent, they will either have no success or small success, depending on the quality of the content they generate. Inconsistency will only give PRAD a small amount of data to work off of. Overall, consistency is key to success and key to gathering data. Even if next semester's social media management team creates low quality content, they will still see more success than inconsistent posts. A suggestion our team has maybe for PRAD maybe next semester or in future years is maybe expand into other social media such as Reddit, Snapchat, or even TikTok. This could potentially give PRAD different types of clients and maybe grab their attention. So in summary, our goals were to expand, schedule, and collect. So we expanded the PRAD social media community by gaining them followers. We created a calendar that hopefully next semester will follow and stay consistent with. And we gathered the data from students, clients, the professors in each class, and any relevant in-class data. We would like to thank Dr. Swanson for this real-world opportunity. The experience has helped each of us grow individually and as a team. We definitely gained a lot of skills and knowledge that we didn't have before this class, and we can take this experience and use it to help us succeed in our professional career fields. Thank you guys, and PRAD for life.